She said she was too pretty to be tied down. So I let her go. Spoiler, no one caught her. I'm Jake, 32, small business owner in Colorado. I run a local auto detailing shop, work hard, and live a pretty quiet life. I met Lena 3 years ago at a friend's barbecue. She was funny, confident, gorgeous, like jaw-droppingly gorgeous, and she knew it. At first, things were great. I mean, yeah, she was high maintenance, always needing validation, designer stuff, expensive dinners, but I figured I could handle it. After all, I wasn't broke, and I loved spoiling her. I thought I was investing in a future with her. But here's the thing. Lena didn't believe in forever. At least not for people like her. She once told me, guys chase girls like me their whole lives. I'm not meant to settle. I laughed it off back then. Thought it was just one of her little ego trips. Fast forward to last fall. I had just landed a new contract with a dealership, and things were looking good for me. I started thinking about proposing. I even scoped out a ring. But the more I tried to plan a future, the more distant Lena got. She started going on girls' trips every other weekend. Always posting thirst traps on Instagram with captions like asterisk, too hot to be wifed up, or sip in and single, kinda. When I'd ask her what was going on, she'd flip it. You're too controlling, or why are you so insecure? Then came the night that changed everything. We were at dinner. Fancy place downtown. I brought up the idea of taking a vacation together. Maybe something romantic, reconnect a little. She rolled her eyes and said, Jake, I'm too pretty to be tied down. Why would I limit myself now, when I've got options? I sat there stunned, watching her sip wine like she hadn't just ripped out my heart, and stomped on it in heels I probably paid for. She followed up with, you're a nice guy, but I need more excitement. You don't get it, guys line up for me. So I let her go. Literally. Paid the bill, walked her back to her car, kissed her on the cheek, and said, hope someone in that line catches you. She smirked like she'd won something. But here's the part she didn't expect, I wasn't gonna beg. I wasn't gonna chase. And I definitely wasn't gonna sit at home, crying over someone who thought she was doing me a favor by staying. That night, I blocked her on everything. Deleted her photos. Called my lawyer, and removed her from my will and business emergency contact. She didn't live with me, thank God, but she did have a few luxury items at my place. I boxed them up and left them with a note. Return to sender. Address unknown. Then I started working on my glow up. I'll tell you what happened when she tried to crawl back, how she hit rock bottom, and how karma did its thing, and stay tuned. After I let Lena go, I focused on myself like never before. I wasn't about to be one of those sad breakup cliches, crying into beer and stalking her Instagram. Nope. I hit the gym, doubled down on work, and started spending time with real friends, people who didn't care about clout or followers. Funny thing, life got lighter. My business thrived. A month after our breakup, I landed a detailing contract with a high-end wedding car rental company. Irony, huh? Cleaning limos for people committing to forever, while I was cleaning out the last emotional trace of someone who believed forever was for less attractive people. Meanwhile, Lena's online presence ramped up. You'd think she was auditioning for a reality show. Non-stop selfies, day in the life of a baddie reels, bikini pics from rented rooms. But behind the filtered smiles, I saw cracks. Mutual friends started whispering. Turns out, all that line of guys she claimed were chasing her? Just dudes from dating apps looking for one-night stands. Guys who thought she was hot, sure, but none who stayed past brunch. She wasn't too pretty to be tied down. She was just too shallow to hold anything real. Then she made her first mistake, texting me. 3 months after we broke up, I got a message from an unknown number. Hey stranger. Guess who misses you? I didn't reply. A week later, another. Jake, I've been thinking about us. You were the only guy who treated me like a queen. I was dumb. Can we talk? Oh, now I was the only one who treated her right? How convenient. After she burned the bridge, now she wants to rebuild with ashes. Still, I didn't respond. That's when she made mistake number 2, showing up at my shop. I was polishing a vintage Mustang when I saw her outside, wearing sunglasses like she was some kind of celebrity. She walked in like nothing ever happened. "Jake, can we just talk for 5 minutes?" she asked, in that voice she used to use when she wanted something expensive. I stepped out from behind the car. Talk about what? How you're too pretty for a relationship? Or how none of the guys in your line wanted more than a night? She flinched. I made a mistake, okay? I thought, I don't know, that I could do better. But you were real. You were loyal. Everyone else just used me. That's what you chose, I said calmly. That's what you said you wanted. Then she started crying. Crying. Right there, in front of my shop. She said she lost her job, her influencer collabs were drying up, and her rent was overdue. Even her besties stopped hanging out with her once the free parties and brand gifts disappeared. She wanted to start over. But I wasn't stupid. I knew Lena. This wasn't about love. It was about survival. She wasn't running back because she loved me. She was crawling because the attention well had dried up, and I was a safe fallback. A soft place to land. Except, I wasn't soft anymore. I told her, you weren't too pretty to be tied down. You were too selfish to be loved properly. That's not something you fix with a sorry and a sad story. She stared at me like I'd slapped her. Then, with nothing left to say, she walked out. And this time, I let her. After Lena left my shop that day, part of me thought that was the end of it. I figured she'd move on to the next guy with a sports car and a fragile ego. But it turns out, rejection from me was the final blow to her ego. And that's when karma went to work. 2 weeks later, I got a call from one of my regular clients. A guy named Mark who owns a luxury condo complex downtown. He needed detailing for a couple of high-end tenant vehicles and asked me to stop by. While I was there, I saw someone on the sidewalk yelling at the security desk. It was Lena, hair tied up in a messy bun, hoodie too big for her, yelling about how she was just trying to talk to someone named Brian. From what I pieced together, Brian was her latest boyfriend, if you could call him that. Apparently, she moved in with him after running out of options. But once her charm faded and Bill showed up, he tossed her out. Security wouldn't let her up. She looked desperate, panicked, and completely alone. I watched from the garage bay and, for a second, I felt a flicker of pity. This was a woman who once believed she was untouchable. Now she was out in the cold, quite literally, waiting for a man who wasn't coming back down. But I didn't interfere. Instead, I walked away, because sometimes karma doesn't need help. A few days later, she tried one last Hail Mary. I was hosting a small local business networking event, something I'd been meaning to organize for a while. Thanks to a friend of a friend, she showed up, dressed to kill, pretending like she belonged there. Probably hoping I'd be too polite, or too nostalgic, to turn her away. She came up to me mid-conversation with potential clients, smiled wide, and said, "Jake, can we talk? Please." I kept my smile polite. "Of course," I said. Then, in front of everyone, I leaned in and added, "After the event, at the back exit." Her smile twitched. She nodded and walked off, thinking she'd won. I never showed up. 2 months later, I started dating someone new. Her name's Emily. She's the opposite of Lena. Grounded, kind, not obsessed with likes or filters. She actually listens, and she works hard. Owns a small flower shop, 2 blocks from mine. We met when she brought me her brother's car for a detail. Simple. Natural. Lena saw us once. We were at the farmer's market, laughing over ice cream. She was a vendor at one of the stands, probably trying to make ends meet. She caught my eye, and looked away. That moment, that was my closure. No yelling. No revenge schemes. No bitterness. Just me, thriving. And her, watching. So yeah, she said she was too pretty to be tied down. And I let her go. No one caught her. Because eventually, people see past the glitter, the selfies, and the fake personas. And when they do, they don't chase. They walk. Just like I did. And Lena? She ended up exactly where her choices led her. Not because I ruined her, but because I didn't save her. Sometimes, the best revenge is doing nothing, and letting karma handle the rest. I appreciate you watching till the end. Hit that subscribe button, and stay tuned for more content.